Okay, so I thought it was important to go ahead and turn the camera back on to draw the other sides of these boxes to remind you that these have to be parallel. I think about there. And then here, this has to be parallel. That doesn't look like a cube anymore, so I'm going to erase this, and I think I have to push it back so that it looks more like a cube. Maybe more like that. Try that, and that's why I'm trying to keep these lines sort of light, not too dark. Again, parallel, drop it down, go from that connection, and that looks more like a cube, square, rather than rectangular. Okay, so this one, same thing. I think about here. It looks right to me. And I'm going to erase these lines because we're pretending this is a solid cube, like this cube, my prop, which I'll use later. All right, so now I'm going to show you how to draw circles in the squares and how they change as they recede back in space. So the first thing I'm going to do, take the ruler, and if you don't have a ruler, you don't really need a ruler for measurements for this exercise. You just need to make sure that you have a straight edge for doing your construction lines. So you can just lay down anything you have, a book or something that has a straight edge. Okay, so I'm going to stick with this one. And I did this one, and now I'm going to draw a circle in it. And the reason that I drew the X was so that I could determine where the middle is. So if I go parallel, I'll find the center, and then this way I'll find the center. And so that tells me that my circle is only going to touch the square in those four corners. And I'm going to go ahead and start to sketch in my circle. I'm a little flat there. Barely touch and pull away. Barely touch and pull away. Barely touch. And I'm going to go to this side because it's just more natural for me to draw from that direction. And it's a little bit wonky, but I can come back and try to commit to my line. A little bit flat there, but I'm going to go ahead. It's there, pulls away, comes down. All right. So that one's the easy one. These are a little trickier, but the way to do it is, again, to go from corner to corner And then you go from the center to the vanishing point. Sorry about that. Speedle, you got to get down. He likes to be the center of attention. So what that tells me is that that's my center point right there, which, well, actually these should line up. I'm a little bit off there. That's why that's not lining up. But this is the process. So we're just going to keep going. And now the same thing here. This is going to be parallel, and I'm going to make sure I'm lining up. So what's happening here is that the center is pushed back. There's more space in the front than in behind, which I'm crooked because that's... So I'm going to erase that line and draw it over. Some of you might have to do these a few times as well. I'm going to go ahead and erase this one too and make sure it lines up with my center there. So, vanishing point. And now I'm going to reinforce the back of the box so I know where my boundaries are, and the side of the box. So now, go ahead and I'm going to be more careful. I'm going to sharpen my pencil. And if you've already done perspective and you know how to do it, just go ahead and finish out all the circles and all the squares. And then we're going to do the same thing in 2-point perspective. So now, a little bit more erasure. So now I have a sharper pencil tip, and I can make sure that I'm more precise going from corner to corner. Now I'm wondering if this line is not parallel. Well, it's parallel enough. So now this line, this is my target actually. That should probably be lower. So now this is the middle of this line. This is the middle of this side. So I have my 4 corners, and this is what happens to the circle. It changes shape, and it goes around, hits that middle spot, and starts to pull away, but hits that spot there very briefly. And if you look at the corners, you want to make sure that you really take up some of that corner and then barely hit here and come around and bring this one as well. So you can begin to see the change that happens to the shape of a circle as it recedes back in space. You're going to do the same thing on the top. Corner to corner. Corner to corner. There's my midpoint. And now I'm going to find the centers by should be a little higher than that. There. And then this one I'm going to find the center by going from that center point to the vanishing point. So now that tells me that my midpoints are here, 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 and here. So that circle is going to be bigger in the front and smaller as it goes back that way. So that's going to be something like something like that. So if you can get that far, that's good enough. You want to do that same thing in this square and in here. So you'll have 3 cubes and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 circles or ellipses. Okay.